Let's just put it right over here. That's okay, honey. You've got your hands full. Okay, live, you're on. Go, Marley. All right. Okay. Hello, everybody. Yay. We're getting past the glitches here. I'm going to start right out by showing you what SymMod looks like with two little film clips. One is under 5 minutes and the other is 7 minutes. And then I'm going to talk. Okay, so a friend's going to put the first clip in the chat, and you can go to your browser and watch it. Okay, and when you're done, just say done in the chat, right? And I'll get a sense of when people are done with that. All right, symbolic modeling. You're going to see two different processes. One's called inside out, that's the first film, and the other one is outside in. Inside out. So you just watch the inside out one. And then actually you can watch the outside in one right after. So it's going to be about 10, 12 minutes altogether. Okay, well, I've been advised to start talking because of the time. I'm hoping that most of you got to see both of these, the inside out and outside in approaches to symbolic modeling. Um, I arrived in Second Life in the fall of 2007 and was immediately enchanted with its creative possibilities and what I heard and saw, and my own background, training, and experience, which combines many arts, education, humanistic psychology, coaching, and facilitation, were not difficult for me to translate into programs to offer in this new world. Of course, I had to learn a lot and had to have helpers along the way. Of particular interest to me was the possibility of using the building technology in symbolic and metaphorical ways, something I did not see happening in Second Life. They were wonderful, fantastical, admirable, immersive builds of all kinds, but not much in the way of creating for self-understanding, for educational insight, for artistic interactions, or community building, where various arts processes were used as tools for generating new ways of perceiving feeling states, values, and various issues. So this became my niche. Symbolic modeling, or SymMods, can be thought of as a tool for capturing ways of perceiving that you don't get by thinking or talking alone. It allows you to shift perspective, as you saw in the film, try out possibilities, connect your body, mind, visceral experience sitting at the computer to your visual creativity, and play with options for making connections between what you create, see, think, and feel. It can produce insights which are surprising and magnify your understanding. And this approach, which I combine with models from humanistic existential psychology, provides the basis for much of what I do here. As you saw in the film, I use two basic approaches and help people explore with models from Gestalt and Jungian psychology. So with Inside Out, you start with a feeling, an idea, or question. You choose a shape to represent it. You describe yourself as that. You make associations. And then you saw in the outside in, you create something, a form, a drawing, or whatever, with no prior reference, just something that you're intuitively guided to create using color, shape, size, totally abstract. Now, the process, if you want to learn how to be a guide for this, we do offer training. And I'll say more about that a little later. The Gestalt psychology framework has you becoming the parts of the drawing or the build using I language. The thing becomes like a character in a play and has its own voice. And you integrate the messages or produce insight or new perspectives that way. You would describe yourself as parts of your creation, possibly having dialogues between parts, or seeing what the complete object or picture has to say to you and you to it. Gestalt formation is defined as the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, and I'm sure most of you have heard that. Role-playing and dialogue also can be used. You set up two or more aspects of an issue or an idea or challenge or a feeling state, and then you have the objects speak to each other with you as the objective witness. So, I do want to say, do we have time? We probably don't have time. So I do various programs using SymMods, and for information about all my programs, please contact my program manager, Katsai Tenon, known as Katz, or join my group, Octagon, Creative Exploration. If you're a group leader, teacher, counselor, or other people worker, and want to learn how to use this tool with others, also in educational settings, talk with cats about getting prior experience yourself and then doing some training sessions. I also work with collaborators, and I have a manual on my website, which is called Being Alive, Creative and Emotional Tools for people professionals, with lots of sensory exercises that you can try. So I would like to leave a few minutes if you have any questions or comments about what you've seen or heard or anything you want to ask. Is the mushroom out? Okay, so Fran's giving you a copy of our program resources and things I've written and my website and all of that if you're interested in finding out more about this. But for right now, I just want to open it up for a few minutes to the people here to see if you have any comments that you want to make about what you saw or about this approach to using the building technology here. And by the way, you can do, what I was going to do if I had time was to have you do a drawing. You can try it, sometime after this session. You can make an outside-in drawing, just scribble on a piece of paper, make colors and so on, and then practice becoming parts of your drawing and seeing what those parts need to say to you. Usually, they will bring you some illumination about something that you're working with in your life. It's a very, very interesting process. I'm waiting for questions or comments in the chat. How do your participants feel safe to share things that come up? We stress that anything that happens in a session is confidential and won't go beyond the session. That individuals, if they want to share their experience, that's fine, but they won't name the other people in the group or say anything about other people's experience. And people pretty much stick to that because they want it stuck to for themselves too. So confidentiality. It may seem like I'm doing therapy, but this is not therapy. It's a way of applying an artistic tool to some kind of insight or revelation. And then you can go as deeply as you want to with it. And often it is therapeutic for people, but that's not the intention. It's a learning process. More questions or comments? I would love to know whether the films were comprehensible to you, whether you understood something about the process. You noticed how often I had to remind Katz, who's done this many times now, to not objectify. You're not talking about it in the third person. You need to use I language, become the thing. That's how you get best in touch with what its message is for you.
Hi, Marley. This is Buffy.
Yeah.
What really interested me was how quickly, I guess it was Kat, looked at an object and then put a name to it or a feeling, or like it was very quick. Does that happen often? People look at something and something comes up?
We edited some of these films down so that they would be a manageable amount of time. So you didn't really see the absolute whole process.
Oh, okay, that makes me feel better. Okay, thanks. Yeah, because I've taken one of your sessions and it really works. It does bring up a lot of thoughts and feelings and ideas, and yeah, I really encourage anyone to take it if they can. So thanks, Marla.
Yeah, and you can use it also purely for conceptual stuff. Some of you may remember that I did a whole thing on climate change with symbolic modeling, where people created different attitudes about the climate change issue. It was fascinating. And I purposely had people take positions that were not their own and develop them. And because what that does is it gives you a global framework for being able to talk with people whose positions you don't agree with, but to do it in a collaborative manner and not in a confrontational manner. And, I've done that in all kinds of settings with fundamentalists of different kinds, with, people who had wildly different views about different political issues and so on. But when you set it up to be an objective experience like this, where people understand that they're going to have as many different perspectives as possible about an issue, it becomes just a fascinating learning experience. It helps everybody. Luna, could you elaborate on the difference between a learning experience and a therapeutic one during these exercises? Every therapeutic experience is a learning experience, and many learning experiences are therapeutic if they involve your feelings. So, no, I can't. Except that you can treat it the way that you want to for your own purposes. Hi, Cats. Cats has just dropped in, and we're near the end of the session. But Cats is my program manager. She's the one to contact if you would like to be in any of our programs. We have one called Visions of Self that's coming up, I think, in April. That would be very interesting to people who want to do the kind of work that you saw in the films. That is exploring your own personal world and what it consists of, and how arts-based processes can help you get more ideas about that. And then we do other kinds of programs too that have different kinds of emphases. So Cats is the person, Cats Saitenin, to contact if you would like to be part of either a training experience. I usually do trainings with individuals because it was so hard to set up, to schedule training groups. I have done groups, but it was very difficult for the scheduling. So now I just invite individuals who work with groups here and want to have this kind of training, like how to guide these experiences with groups and with people. I will meet with people individually or with teams. Like if you're a collaborator with someone else, like you work with someone else on projects, and you would like to work as a team with symbolic modeling, I can help you to do that. So Luna, I hope that you got the drift of that. It depends on what you bring to the experience, whether you're treating it like mainly a learning and educational experience, or whether you see its therapeutic value for you as well. These are wonderful questions. This is a great crowd. I'm because there's nothing else happening here right now. I'm staying around a little bit because it took a little time for you to see the films. But formally the session's over. But if anyone else wants to ask me questions or find out more about the programs from Cats or anything, I'm going to stay around here for another 5 or 10 minutes. And thank you all so much for being here. I think I'll have a seat. Oh, you're welcome, everybody, and thank you for being here. This was a lovely group. I wish we had time for me to, talk to each and every one of you. Like, I'd be very interested if you got ideas about how you could apply this tool in your own projects here in Second Life. If anyone wants to say anything about that, you might. It is deceptively simple. You do need training in how to guide people in doing the exploring. It looks simpler than it is. It does take some training to learn to ask open-ended questions and how to just follow the path of the client and not project your own stuff onto them, which is what beginners do with this. Like, they get their own ideas about what they're seeing. And it's really important not to do that. Oh, Buffy, you were a great little gooser today. A gooser, goosing the process, putting in questions and making comments. You don't know that term, to goose people? Oh, you're from Canada. Goosing is all. Right. That's very funny. Yeah, when you say it in America, I'm gonna goose you. It's like getting somebody going.
Seems like it went well.
Yes, and there's still people hanging around, and we're very open to having people ask more questions or talk with us about what they saw or heard. Curtsies and poofs.